Hey guys, so in my previous video I had told you all that I would be giving you some hacks and tricks to manage your emotional side of your life with this whole self-isolation that's going on. So the first hack that I'll tell you about today is called wordplay. Now, why exactly did I choose the topic of wordplay? Let me tell you a little bit about that. Basically, every single time you read, write, or even speak to someone, the words that you use are nothing but a depiction of your state of mind because every word has a tone to it. Now, the combination of the tone to the word and the word itself together has the power to induce emotions, has the power to induce thoughts, has the power to make you feel certain things, right? This combination of words and a tone forms a voice. This voice is always in your head. And this is the voice that you usually talk to when you're thinking to yourself about anything in the world, right? So let's call this voice self-talk because it is the only thing talking to yourself with yourself. So self-talk is a safe word to use, right? Now, the self-talk that you have is actually so powerful that it forms the genesis and the basis of your belief system, of your ethics, of your principles. It basically makes up and forms everything that forms your character and makes you the person you are. Now, let me tell you all some characteristics about the self talk. Self talk is continuous and constant. It's been on since the day you were born. It's automatic. There's no regulation of turning it on or turning it off per se. And as a result of these things, we are over familiar with it. It's too over familiar for our mind that it doesn't even realize that it's going on and on in the background because it's just always there, right? Now, it's super fast. It processes close to 600 to 800 words per minute and it has the power to induce emotions. Now, guys, it is this self talk that actually also makes up your belief system. Now, every single time you see something happening outside, it is a result of someone's behavior. Those behaviors are triggered by emotions, and those emotions are rooted to your belief system. The belief system is comprised of nothing but certain statements and phrases, right? For all of us, literally for all of us. These principles that we stand by, these ethics that we abide by, and these things that make us what we are as a character are nothing but statements, right? These statements are words again, and these words are given to you by your own self-talk. So, do we see that how powerful this self-talk is? Now, what if I told you there was a very simple technique to actually control a bit of the self-talk? Like just a bit, not to like you can never control the whole self-talk because then you would be in Zen mode for real, like in real life, and which is next to impossible. This is where wordplay, basically playing around with words, comes into picture. Now, all of you all who are already are into reading or writing have an upper hand over here because you guys have a better vocabulary and you understand words and their system and they're working better. Now, this is the hack. Step one is to be aware about your self-talk, is to put some light on it and actually see what these words are and what these thoughts look like. Step two is to identify that one thought or that one chain of thought or that track in your self-thought that will actually kickstart another chain of thoughts which will take you to some place that you don't want to be or some place in your mind that you don't want to trigger right now. So it's important you identify that because we have this sense and judgment that we know if I already see that thought, like we know where it's going to go. So use that judgment, pick up that one thought or that phrase. Pick up those words literally in your mind and put them on a wall or just throw them somewhere and start viewing it from a third person point of view. It is very important that you view it from a third person point of view because that's the only way how you'll be able to see that thought or those words and rationalize it and use it in a more manageable way. Step 4 is you change a couple of these words in the same statement and change it into a question. So for an example, when I wake up in the morning and I say, I am so bored and I have nothing else in the world to do right now because I just can't go out. All I'm going to do is I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to take these words, I'm going to throw them on the wall and ask myself again. And by twisting these words, I'm going to ask myself, am I really that bored that I have nothing in the world to do? So do you guys see what just happened here? All I did was took those words, put them on a wall in my mental eye and just changed a couple of words and hence changed the whole chain of thoughts that would have led to some place that I wouldn't want to be altogether. This also gets me to a sub-hack of the main hack because the self-talk has so much power to induce emotions. We call this technique auto-suggestion. Now, most of you know this thing, but let's see how it works, because though we know about it, we don't quite use it. But take this example. Every single day when we wake up these days, okay, we either have the thought of how lazy am I feeling? And the first thing we do is we pick up our phones and we text our friends saying, bro, the lockdown, man, damn. Or I'm just so lazy today. Or I feel like going out. But no one's quite addressing what could we do, right? Sitting in the house. I know we have done a lot of things already, but what more could we do with ourselves here? That could be a better question. But when we make these statements, I'm bored, I want to go out, or this lockdown is just getting bad for me, we say these things again and again, right? We just don't text that to one person, we text that to multiple people. Now imagine your mind is seeing those words throughout the day. Of course it will make you feel lazy at some point. So I'm not saying go all holier than thou and change every word that you have in a dictionary and just be pumping and all motivated at it. But where could we use these statements or these words here and there for our own disposal, where we would actually want to do something, and it could help us get out of the bed or the couch and get us going. So let's go over on the hack again. Step 1 is you get aware about your self-talk. Step 2 is you differentiate the thought you don't want to. Step 3 is you visualize those words and twist those words or change those words. And step 4 is to stick to the new solution-based chain of thoughts. Sometimes changing the tone of those words could also make a very big difference. So let's take an example here. I'll take the sentence, the lockdown may get extended beyond the given date. So the first one would be, the lockdown could get extended beyond the date, versus the lockdown could get extended beyond the date, versus the lockdown could get extended beyond the date. So do you see a difference here? With all three times when I changed my tone, the intensity or the context of the sentence could be felt a little changed. And hence, every single time you come out with that one final statement that's going to kick out a new chain of thoughts, which is more solution based, right? We could say it could be solution based because it is actually going to help you, right? So every single time you have that final statement coming in, try hearing it or speaking it in a very affirmative tone in your own mental eye. It'll help a lot. So this was my first hack that I want to share with you all. I'm pretty sure most of you have been doing this unconsciously for a lot of time, but since now that you have a structure to it, you could have a better control over these words. And we have seen how these words, along with the tone, have a very deep impact on us, and they also form our self-talk. So the whole idea was to become aware about the self-talk and hence become a little more aware about where our thoughts are going and where could we take them. In my study of psychology, I have understood one thing, that 60 to 70% of any kind of problem is taken care of or catered to, or at least has some solution to it the moment you identify the real problem or the root of it all. And that again starts with self-awareness. So we've started becoming very self-aware about our surroundings as to what we touch and maintaining the distance because of the whole pandemic. But I feel like it's very important that you start becoming self-aware about yourself. So stay tuned, because the next hack that I'm going to share with you all is something that most of us love doing, and we've been doing that a lot. That is listening to music. Since I love music so much, I thought it would be great to share a hack where I have been personally actually managing a lot of my emotions and my moods based on the music I've listened to. But of course, there's a technique on how this music should be heard, or even on the choice of music. So stay tuned and stay safe, be home. Thank you.